Hello everyone. Today we will continue to look at the content of HCI-Storage. Previously, we have already introduced two types of front-end interface modules. Next, we have the third type, which is called Smart I/O. For this module, you can first take a look at the picture. Let's not rush into explaining its function just yet. Please take a look at the picture first. Doesn't it look a bit different from the previous two? Right? Especially in terms of what? In terms of the interface speed. And also, in terms of the structure. The first two types actually have 4 ports, right? And also 2 ports. Moreover, the speed here is quite regular. You see here it's 10, 40, or 100. The interfaces are either 4 or 2. If the speed is relatively fast, it becomes 2. If the speed is slow, it is 4. It's the same here. For the slower speed of 25G, there are 14 ports. And for the faster speed of 100G, it goes down to 2 ports. Here, we have 4 ports. Actually, the speed we support here is not as fast as the previous two, but it's also not particularly low. Relatively speaking, the overall speed is moderate. You could say that the overall speed is in the middle, not particularly fast, nor particularly slow. The interfaces are all 4 interfaces, all 4 interfaces. Next, we will mainly introduce the Smart L module to everyone, discussing it in detail. What we saw earlier was the surface, just the appearance. Now, regarding the details, first, everyone should pay attention. As I mentioned earlier, regarding the speed, it is moderate, right? However, it's not limited to just these two. Here we only illustrated 2, one is 32G and the other is 25G. In reality, the speeds it supports include from 8G, 10G, 16G, 20G, 32G, 5 types of optical modules. This means its compatibility is relatively better. Our Smart I/O interface module has the best compatibility. It's like a universal socket that can adapt to appliances of different power levels because it can connect to many types of optical modules. With different speeds, we can also adapt to various data transmission scenarios. This is actually one of its main advantages, which is its support for a large number of optical modules and its good compatibility. If your company's data traffic is relatively small, you can choose a slightly lower speed. If it's larger, we choose the larger one. Here, and in this case, the range isn't particularly large. For example, if we compare the first two, it's 25 to 100, right? Here it's 1 to 100. So between this module and the ROC module, their overall speed range is very large, right? 1G is actually very slow, isn't it? 1G is relatively slow. 100G, on the other hand, is generally too fast for most companies to use. The range of selectable speeds in between is not very large. Not very high, not very large. It's either not particularly high or not particularly low. For some companies, this choice can be problematic, right? If you choose a higher speed, it might be a bit redundant. And if you choose a lower speed, it might not be sufficient. If you choose a higher speed, it could be wasteful. A bit of a waste. So what is this? This is actually a problem with the first two options, which is that their speed range is too large and there are too many gaps in between. So, for us, the Smart I/O module can just fill in the gap in the middle. We support modules with speeds of 80, 16, 25, and 3.125, offering 5 different speed options. The advantage of this is that it can help companies choose a speed that is neither too fast nor too slow, but rather something in between. This is one of our main advantages of the Smart I/O module. Of course, besides speed, smart. The word means intelligent, right? The Smart I/O actually has another advantage besides speed. What is this advantage? It supports multiple types of ports. It doesn't just support one type. It also supports FC interfaces and ETH interfaces. These are 2 different types of interfaces. For example, the FC interface. FC stands for fiber channel. The full name is fiber channel. Fiber channel ports are generally used where data transmission stability or reliability is highly required in the network environment. Our ETH, right? That is our Ethernet. So the Ethernet port, which is the network port. Actually, we mentioned this before somewhere. We introduced this here, right? This module is actually divided into fiber optic ports, right? Previously, we divided them into electrical interfaces and fiber optic ports, and it supports both types of ports here. Our module, our Smart L module, how is it divided? It is mainly divided into fiber channel and Ethernet channel. Two types of situations. As for the fiber channel, we actually introduced earlier that it is mainly for some storage requirements that are relatively high, with the main requirements, of course, being stability and reliability. In situations where these two aspects are highly demanded, relatively speaking. The fiber interface of the Smart I/O, the fiber channel here, performs relatively better. For example, in the image storage systems of the medical industry, a large amount of image data like CAT scans is generated every day. This data is crucial for diagnosing medical conditions and must not be compromised. In this situation, using the FC fiber interface to connect storage devices and application servers ensures the accuracy and stability of data during transmission. It allows doctors to quickly and accurately read the imaging data of a patient. This provides beneficial support for diagnosis and treatment. As for Ethernet ports, they can be used in a broader network environment because, relatively speaking, they are more cost-effective and offer better compatibility. In some corporate office networks, actually using this, Ethernet interfaces, connecting storage devices and application servers can facilitate file transfer, file sharing, data backup, etc. This can already meet the daily office needs of a company. So in different scenarios, choosing different versions would be more appropriate. Here, it actually supports different versions of network ports and different speeds of these fiber optic ports. This is also one of the advantages of our smart interface. It supports a particularly wide variety of types, unlike the singular options we introduced earlier. This is its main advantage. Of course, we need to emphasize a point of caution. The speed of the optical module needs to match the speed on the interface mode module, otherwise the storage system will trigger an alarm. And this port will also become unusable. How can we understand this? It's like charging a mobile phone, right? When we charge our phones, we need a suitable charger. If you use one that doesn't match, right, well, at best, it won't charge. At worst, it could damage the battery in your phone. In our actual system setup and maintenance process, it's the same. We must strictly follow the interface module's label rate to choose the appropriate optical module. If the wrong optical module is selected, it will not only affect data transmission, but it may also trigger alarms, causing unnecessary trouble for maintenance personnel and increasing the time cost for troubleshooting and resolving issues. As technology continues to develop, our data volume is also rapidly increasing. The requirements for data transmission are becoming higher and higher. Smart I/O, with its strong compatibility and diverse port support, is well suited for this, to adapt to various different scenarios and the data transmission needs at different stages. In this case, compared to the previous two, if we talk about maximum speed, the first two are indeed faster than our Smart I/O. This is a fact, right? As we can see from before, this module here also goes up to a maximum of 100 ROS. In comparison, the Smart I/O can only reach a maximum of 32. Indeed, in terms of maximum speed, it is not as good as the previous two. However, in terms of overall compatibility and the choice of different types of interface modules, right? The selection of different types and speeds is actually more diverse here. Its main advantage lies in better compatibility. This is one of the main advantages of our Smart I/O. If anyone wants to learn about Huawei cognitive technology or obtain the Huawei certification question bank, please send me a private message or leave a comment below the video for technical exchange. That's all for today.